NSFW, siblings of porn stars. Have you ever watched porn of your siblings and what was it like? Not related to a porn star, but a buddy of mine and I stumbled on a video of his mom and his uncle. I think we were 14, and he was mad at his mom because she had recently kicked his dad out of the house and filed for a divorce. I believe he was going through her stuff to get back at her somehow, and we found an unmarked video, so of course we popped it in out of curiosity. What unfolded on the screen was a titillating homemade, where you couldn't see the face of the guy. It was awesome for me until the guy stood up and we both clearly saw the uncle. By the time the uncle flipped her over and started going to town, I was storing mental pictures for later. 5 minutes in, I was wondering why he was still watching, but one look in his direction told me he was growing more and more furious with each passing frame. I ended up leaving shortly thereafter, and he waited for his mom to come home from work. When she walked in and asked him, "What's wrong?" he just hit the play button on the VCR. He ended up telling his dad and his aunt. Divorce proceedings went a lot more easily for his dad, and the uncle found himself divorced, cut off from the family. TLDR, my friend and I found a homemade video of his mom and her sister's husband. Friend blows up his family, and I end up with enough mental pictures to have some super weird facts. Edit, made TLDR more prominent at the bottom, monsieur. I hate that your friend and his father had to go through that, but man, this is the kind of story I opened this thread for. Yeah, it was wild. I saw the question in my feed and thought, finally, my time to shine. No kidding though, it took him a long time to start getting over it. He torpedoed his very well-known, because they own a famous chain of restaurants in our region, family. I felt bad for him, and it was awkward being around his mom after that. Probably more awkward for her to be around me though. Lol. Since this seems to be straying into close to sibling territory, I'll chime in. This was my sister's best friend in HS. She'd been over at my house, done sleepovers, hung out. I knew her well. She and my sister were pretty tight. Anyway, I am home from college one summer, maybe I was like 21, whatever, after a night at the bars with some friends, and one has the brilliant idea to go adult book store. This was late 80s, for reference sake. We go in, and everyone's joking around, looking at the stuff. I go over to a rack of magazines and lo and behold, there's my sister's best friend on the cover of Gent. Now, I didn't know what even Gent was, but of course I look. It turns out that Gent is a magazine dedicated to women with enormous. I am amazed at what I see. Here's this girl I'd known since we were both little kids, naked and spread all over the glossy pages of this rag. Turns out she did a few other mags and some videos. It turns out that she was very popular and her images and videos are floating around the internet, even today. Did your blood run cold? His memory had just been sold. My sister used to be a stripper and is in a Girls Gone Wild type of compilation video. My husband found her video. I have now seen my sister's. I've also seen my sister's, not because she's in, but because my sister's a weirdo and would ask me to help her wax her. Thanks. This is somehow exactly what I expect from someone with the username of pugmommy4life420. Must be more awkward for identical twins, cause now lots of people have seen the innocent one makes, like Phoebe and Ursula on Friends. Well, not if identical twins both do. You can only tell who's who by the shaving pattern down below. Like one is full bush and the other has a landing strip. Not a sibling of one, but I am a cousin of Dakota Sky, and it's weird as I'm a photographer and her and I talked about working together when she was trying to rebuild a few years ago. The emails went from, "Let's try to get together when I'm in Vegas the same time you are," to, "Hey, I need $12 for food and cigarettes. Can you Venmo that to me and I'll send you some pics?" We never worked together. $12 for both food and cigarettes. She living on top ramen. My friend's sister worked with the dudes from Bang Brothers in an administrative capacity. and then she got into. Another friend stumbled across one of her videos and promptly sent the "Holy, check this out" group text. Kinda sad because her life was pretty messed up before getting into. Last I saw she became super religious. Our Bang brothers worked as a military consultant for 3 months as they wanted the set to look real. One of the producers came into my buddy's Army-Navy surplus store in Miami while we were drinking, after his ex-wife ran him over with a car. Needless to say, I set up some scenes for some military-esque BS they didn't got paid $35 an hour very irregularly. Was an extra in one of them. It was weird and ruined for me and GT. We were drinking after his ex-wife ran him over with a car. Hole up, and GT was an extra in one of them. It was weird and ruined for me. Gotta ask. I keep reading people saying folks don't realize the smell of. Is that true? Does the room really smell of hot and sweat? Not quite what you are asking, but I will share my story. A few years ago, my older brother messaged me and explained he found some compromising pictures of me on some sites. I was super worried and embarrassed. He sent me a link to these pictures, and this person looks identical to me. Has the same haircut, same facial structure, eye color, exact same body shape. Everything is the same down to a mole in the same place on the face. I was freaking out initially, thinking that maybe I was drugged and forced to do this, or that my memory was wiped after having done. So I started looking for this person to see if I could find more stuff they were in. Found a few videos and was finally able to convince my brother and myself it wasn't me, only because this dude's was way bigger than mine. Edit. This sister fiend is now referred to as my doppelbanger. And GT found a few videos and was finally able to convince my brother and myself it wasn't me, only because this dude's was way bigger than mine. Look at the size of that. Now look at this _ZZ_zip_. That's the beginning of an incest porno right there. My best friend from high school stumbled across a film of his parents. All of the computers in his house had a file share folder between each of the family computers. For some reason it was just sitting in that file share folder. A show of dominance. The virgin child v. the Chad parents. Honey, here is the part where we made you. Not me directly, but I worked in the industry for years and was on set a number of times when there'd be a sibling on set. Usually it'd be a new actress who'd bring her sister along, I guess for support, but it'd be amusing to see their reaction to watching their sibling having in front of the monsieur. There were also lots of stories from the performers about a sibling finding out for the first time that they were doing adult movies. Remember one actress telling me she had gotten a call from her brother that he was at a bachelor party with friends and all of a sudden there's his sister sucking on screen and damp. He's mortified and trying to turn it off while the rest of them think it's the greatest thing they've seen in their lives. I'm sure now in the day of internet it happens a lot. Of course there were also examples of siblings in the business together. Tara, Tommy Monroe, Buck Adams, Amber Lynn, etc. Edit. I also remember one time a brand new girl brought her dad along. He waited outside. It was still pretty weird. My biggest question is what kind of people decide to watch as a group activity? A bachelor party that can't afford a stripper. Remember when the original iPad had the slideshow feature? None of your photos were ever safe or secure. If you were locked out of the iPad, there was a button you could press to start a slideshow of all the pictures you had saved on there. Well, when I was about 12 I had to use my parents' bathroom and found the iPad. You know when you're bored and you just want to look at or read something to pass the time. So I grabbed their iPad and went into slideshow mode. It started off very calm and nice. Just family pictures of our vacation in Mexico and reunions. Then all of a sudden it went into some full-on with my parents going at it. I had no idea what was really, so I just kept watching like an idiot and now have every image engraved into my brain once I figured out exactly what they were doing. You look at your parents differently when you know what kind of weird they be doing in the room while you're asleep. These are forever with my memory and I wish this upon none of you. Redditors. Why is incest a popular category in? Also Redditors. Everything in this thread. Edit for all those asking about my awareness. The most most exciting update today is rubbing it on my sister in honor of this thread. There have been a few AMAs and stuff from people working in the adult film industry, and they have said it's typically because it's a kink some people are into that is super easy to add to any film, without actually altering the scenes in any meaningful way. A thrown in, "Hey stepbro," or just a couple tags of step siblings, can get viewers into the video. And most people who watch that doesn't care, like incest, can overlook a thrown-in reference. But those who like the kink go looking for the monsieur. I know a girl that goes to my school whose sister is Naomi Woods, and we both agree that she was better in her scenes before her plastic surgery. That is so sad. What is the motivation of this? Why she wants bigger mouth like the fuckins Kardashians though? I've seen a tape from my parents off of an old phone they gave to my little brother as his first phone. Luckily I saw it before he had the chance, so it was only I who suffered. The real-life deleting of browser history guy above said he worked at a home or something. After PPL died, he would gather NSFW things and families would accuse him of stealing, but they are saving face for the deceased. It's better than showing families their 90-year-old grandma's 15-inch alien. And if so, which video did you watch of them? Links appreciated. I'd also be curious to know if they were aware of their siblings' adult career. Somewhere out there, two clueless people showed up on set one day to each realize their sibling didn't been booked on the same job. Dueling banjos intensify. My sister came home for the summer when she was in college around 2005. My dad called me for help deleting all of these files, all of them no matter where they are, from his computer. He was vague about what they were, just that he tried to delete them and he kept finding new ones or the same ones. He wasn't sure. Apparently my sister used his laptop's webcam to take a bunch of nude photos and small videos of herself to email to her boyfriend, using my dad's email account no less. Apparently she's not a genius. At the time I didn't know what it was I was deleting because my dad was embarrassed to say, so I started finding image files created on the date he said it happened and opened them this year, only to find my sister in a variety of situations that involved spreading and random objects. Yeah, can't unsee that. The irony of this is that a year or so earlier she gave me a lecture about how disgusting was and how it was degrading to let yourself be photographed for magazines. Lol, I guess that only applies to other people. A longtime friend gave me an external hard drive to put the footage I shot of her wedding on, and while doing so, I found a pretty explicit tape of her and her new husband from a few years ago while they were dating. It was just right there, not hidden at all. It was surreal to watch cause she's been like a sister to me for over 10 years. Not super arousing, more like a peek behind the curtain. Years ago when she